Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, continuing on with our month of life changes and reprioritizing. Yesterday, Annette shared her heart with us
I did.
about her age.
I shared my heart and I realized halfway through the day what I really could have said just in one sentence is reprioritizing the weight that we give to other people's opinions about us and also society's view of us. We may have had that as top priority for a long time. When we're reprioritizing and allowing our life to change so that we can show up as the best version of ourselves, a healthier version of ourselves, reprioritizing what other people think of us, what society thinks of us, is part of being in alignment with who we are today, right now.
That's why I asked you the question yesterday, who's defining whom?
I know, when you asked me, I thought, what the hell is she doing asking me that question?
Weren't you listening to me?
Weren't you listening? But then it took me like 4 hours and then I understood why you asked me that question.
Because either we can let society, our families, or anybody else define us, or the opposite could happen where we're pushing against those definitions or those ideas about us, and both can be equally inauthentic. If I'm living my life in order to prove you wrong, I'm not really showing up as me. I'm showing up as someone who's trying to prove you wrong. I'm showing up as the opposite of who you think that I should be. We want to be ourselves, and that's part of the reprioritization, reprioritizing our lives into who we are, not who we used to be, who we think we should be, or any of that.
That's the danger of fighting something like 65. I could now spend the next 5 years proving to everyone that I'm not like every other 65-year-old. And that would be inauthentic. That's what you're saying right there. There is also the thought of learning to work with our bodies instead of fighting our bodies. So when we think about reprioritizing, maybe we had the priority of going to the gym after work every day. And then life can change. Maybe we have 2 little kids and going to the gym every day after work doesn't fit into their schedule. Reprioritizing around our body would be maybe we can't be in that perfect, ultimately perfect shape, but yet we're prioritizing other things, our relationship with our kids, anything that is surrounding our body. And I brought up the mind yesterday at the end. To me, they're very intertwixt and intertwined. If I'm going to say, well, my priority is now my family, and it used to be my body, that doesn't mean that we don't care about our bodies at all. It's how can I show up as the best mom I can be or dad I could be, and how can I make sure that I'm taking care of myself? So depending on your age, what's going on in your life at this time, the reprioritizing is going to look different. The bottom line, though, is in alignment with who we are now.
This goes a little bit with age that you're talking about. It could also be from injury or accidents where our bodies may not work as well as they used to, or we may have a disability. We could spend the rest of our lives getting ticked off that our bodies don't work the way we want them to. We could be sour, we could be bitter, we could be angry. We must honor those feelings and then also say, what do I do today to be the best version of myself? What do I do today for my greatest happiness? Maybe we do need to go to therapy or counseling for that grief. That's a perfectly valid answer and a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Sometimes that's what we need to do. We need to grieve our losses. And along with the grief, say, now what? Now what do I do? Give ourselves time to grieve and then also say, now what?
We didn't have this planned, but as you're sharing, I'm thinking about the reprioritizing that occurs when the people in your life are experiencing life changes. I'll use a personal example, not that I just love talking about myself, but hopefully folks can take my example and then apply it to their own lives. So I'm going to be 65 in October. Somebody else is going to have a birthday on Thursday, tomorrow. And that's my beloved Don, who is 20 years older than I am. As his partner, and we've been married for 43 years, been with him for 45 years. As his partner, it's just now that I would say probably more accurately the last 5 years, but just now I'm really starting to see where he doesn't have the energy that he used to have. He still has a lot of energy, actually, and it's different. He also can't remember things like he used to. He only retired 5 years ago. And after he retired, he wanted to have that same mental stimulation and he wanted to have his day as full. So he would get up in the morning and say, okay, what do we need done today? I'll do it. Like he will clean up the kitchen, empty the dishwasher, vacuum the house, mow the yard. I mean, he'll do it all, take care of the pets. And he loves doing it. And I love him doing it because it makes my job easier because then I can just not worry about home. I can worry about what I'm doing for work. But the reprioritizing piece of this is that now he will say the same thing. Get up in the morning. What do we need done today? And he can't remember it. So now he has this little spiral notebook that he carries around and he writes down what his tasks can be. Like, I never said you have to. He just wants to. So these are ideas that you could do today. That is a reprioritizing for both of us because we have to reprioritize his mind. And we kind of took it for granted maybe before. And then now we're having to say, well, Don needs to make sure he's hydrated. Don needs to make sure that he's well rested. Don needs to use his little helps so he remembers. And reprioritizing isn't a bad. It isn't a good. Like what you will say is it's a neutral. Some things might be like, wow, that sounds a little cumbersome, but maybe not. Maybe that's just what we do. Or the reprioritizing is a gift. I get to do this now. So I think having this attitude that we're going to meet the moment with our reprioritizing is important.
Because you could go full tilt and get mad. Why can't you remember anything? I shouldn't have to write it down in your little notebook. And that's the way some people act, unfortunately.
Well, Dawn and we start laughing because he knows he can't remember. And then I said, well, maybe you would like this little notebook I have. And he said, oh, yeah, I'd love to have a little notebook. And he just keeps it in his pocket. And if he can't remember, I'll say, well, did you write it down? And he said, oh, I forgot to write it down. We're kind of making a game of it because we can't change this. This is the life change that can either do us in or we can bring our sense of humor to it and have fun. And that's what Dawn and I are choosing to do.
So for today, our intention is I will be intentional with my mindset surrounding my life changes and reprioritizing. I will be intentional with my mindset surrounding my life changes and reprioritizing. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.